Hi, this is Matt Cromer, and welcome to Possibilities for Disabilities. Today we have a special guest today, very special guest. I've known for, 28 years, folks. Please welcome my guest, Carol Agler. How you doing, Carol?
I am great. How are you?
Not too bad. Luckily I'm just the the only one here in the building here. Just everything's pretty much just laid back. All the rest of the crew's out on an outing, so I want to stay behind and do this.
Perfect.
Yeah. So how you doing this morning, Carol? Back in Columbus, or are you still in Florida?
We're still in Florida.
Cool. Hopefully you could share this with your with all the girls with you in the clubhouse once my right hand co-man Brian here gets this fixed up and on the YouTube page of Easter Seals Redwood.
That'll be fun.
I think they would love it. So
I think so too.
yeah, like can you tell our listeners like how you and I met like back in '98? Because I know you and I came in '98.
That's right. I started at the Ohio State School for the Blind in 1998, and you did too. I was the music teacher there for 17 years.
Yeah, and then how long you been teaching music in general, and what made you wanna pursue that?
Well, I always knew I wanted to be a teacher. And then in high school, we had a wonderful band director named Mary Jo Gascala. And she was my inspiration then to become a music teacher. And I went on to OSU, Ohio State University, and majored in music education there. And after that, I taught at Circleville Junior High School for 3 years in teaching general music and choir. And then I retired and did private lessons while I raised my family. And so I taught piano and dulcimer. I joined a dulcimer club uh, in 1979. I got a dulcimer for my birthday, and it was a lap dulcimer. And
Uh,
joined a dulcimer club and ended up being a dulcimer performer with Barb Davidson. We were a group called Some Bright Morning, and we did that for more than 10 years. And then I taught at Marburn Academy for 5 years. I was the music teacher there, K through 12. Loved that, but wanted it full time. That was a part-time job. And so I applied at the Ohio State School for the Blind uh, in 1998, and thus began my career there. Music K through 12.
what was the most memorable moment at the School for the Blind when you taught there?
The most memorable moment, I think, was when we went to the our I started the Ohio State School for the Blind marching band in 2005, and in 2010 we marched in the Rose Parade in California, Pasadena. That was a week-long trip. It was the most amazing thing, and it was a 5.5 mile parade
Wow,
through Pasadena. Yes, we trained hard for it, and we got up to the point where we could march 4 miles at a
wow.
time.
I
And
I believe I remember that. I remember I believe I was still there my senior year when you got the announcement from the president of the Rose Parade.
yeah, that was really fun because we gathered everybody into the gym on the pretext of making a recording of the Star Spangled Banner, of everybody singing the Star Spangled Banner, which was true. We did indeed make that recording to send um, onto that project. But while everybody was there, the president called, and we had him on the microphone, and he said we were accepted. And I tell you, the kids in the band about leaped out of their shoes.
Yeah, I think I was sitting next to my girlfriend when that all went down.
It was a magical moment. And
Yeah,
then we were just the darlings of the media. It was wonderful.
yeah. Then I think that summer I was sitting out in the hot sun. You know me, 21 years old. I was sitting out in the hot sun, and what I did was I was listening to newsman Paul Harvey on the radio on my wireless headset. And he was talking about you guys in the pumpkin show in Circleville.
Really?
Yep.
How about that?
Yeah. And then so I also want to. I'm sure you'll our listeners want to know, like, you didn't actually grow up in Columbus, did you?
I did from the age of 11. I turned 11 in Columbus. And before that, I lived in Appalachia. So I have
Okay.
great Appalachian roots.
Okay. So 11. So that was 1961.
Yeah, actually, well, yeah, I turned 11. We moved there in 1960 because I was in fifth grade, and in sixth grade, I we moved to actually the house that Fred and I are currently living in. My parents had bought it in 61.
Okay. And then so when I graduated, what made what made you and I become best friends once I graduated?
Well, actually, during your time and my time at OSSB, you had invited me to be your person at a luncheon in the garage facility.
Oh
What
yeah,
did
the
you
bus
say?
ride. That's 2002.
Yes, right. And that was the beginning. That was
Wow.
when I realized that we were uh, connected more so than most. And then after you graduated, we just kept in touch until uh, I came to see you. We went to the that castle in Cincinnati.
Oh yeah, that was whew, 2 years ago already.
Yeah. So it was just a gradual thing because we just kept talking all the time.
And look at us today.
That's
You
right.
came to see me at my music program with my other friends.
Yes.
Good stuff. I guess the excitement there was a lot like the time when I sang White Christmas during that
That's that's one of
2008.
my that's one of my favorite memories because you do that so well.
Yeah, I guess the energy in that warehouse room was a lot like that when you were there.
Yeah.
Wow, I can't believe we're gonna.
Yeah. Oh. And you were my greatest boy soprano when you were younger, and then one summer you left as a boy soprano and came back as a bass.
Oh yeah, I guess what happened was during that summer I was listening to those voiceover radio guys on my favorite stations, and I'd emulated that, and I guess that's what made me the voice dropped, especially on.
I I think nature had took its course.
Yeah, yeah. Also, I'm sure our listeners want to know what what made you want to teach blind students, and was it a hard decision?
Well, I had taught for 5 years at Marburn Academy. My friend Barb Davidson, who I performed with the Some Bright Morning Dulcimer group, her she worked at um, Marburn Academy, and they did not have a music program. So I became their very first music teacher, and I learned about teaching kids with learning disabilities. That was the focus of Marburn Academy, and they had great success. And then after 5 years there, I really wanted a full time job and found this job at the Ohio State School for the Blind, and when I pulled in to their long, beautiful driveway, springtime with the blooming trees on either side, their crabapple trees blooming on either side of the drive. As I approached the school, it just felt like home. So right away, I just knew this is where I wanted to teach. Whether, whatever kind of students were there, that's where I wanted to teach. It just felt right. So I worked really hard to get that job.
So this was before the fall of '98, one before my arrival, right?
Right. This would have been in 97. And I interviewed at that day when I went to pick up the application with Dr. Mazzoli. And we just clicked right away. And
Wow.
again, I knew that's where I wanted to be. So when I started, I did have some trepidation. I was worried because this was so different. Teaching music these days is such a visual thing with all the technology putting things on screens and I just thought, well, how am I going to adapt? And I was really nervous. And things were really kind of rough at first for me just because I felt like I was floundering. I didn't know what I was doing. I didn't know how to go about teaching when I didn't have materials to put in kids' hands. I had to think ahead and have everything prepped by Bill Bolson to be put into Braille,
Hmm.
literary Braille, and all that. And so I was teaching this one class in November, and I remember thinking, "Oh, when's the bell going to ring?" It was the fifth and sixth grade students, and I just felt like things were not going well as I wanted. I wanted the class to be fun, and it just didn't feel like it was fun. And the bell rang, and everybody got up to leave, and the last person to leave was Ernie Turner. And as he walked down the hall, he turned around and said, "Mrs. Agler, can I give you a hug?" And I said, "Yes." And that was the moment I knew it's going to be fine.
Wow. Wow. I think I remember that. I think he and I weren't rooming at the time, but I think he and I were in the same dorm.
Yeah, probably so.
Yeah, and I was nervous when I got there too. So where did you go to college and where did you get your degree and was it hard?
I went to the Ohio State University, um, and it was hard because a lot of people excel in performance, and I was not definitely a performance person. So I started out in piano. I auditioned in piano and was accepted, uh, and uh, did feel like I was getting it. So then I switched to saxophone, and I knew I wasn't getting it there. I just didn't understand the saxophone music. I couldn't make music out of it. So I switched back to piano, and it wasn't until I was doing my senior. Um, we had to work with students. It wasn't my student teaching, but it was a step before that, where we went out to different schools, and I was working in the band program. I always thought I was going to be a band director, and because Mary Jo Gascala was our band director in high school, that was my focus. And I was working with this junior high band, and we were supposed to be observed at the end of our few weeks at the school, and then we'd be graded on that. And I just kept working with the band when I was being observed instead of just presenting a performance to show how well I was doing. I interpreted it as uh, just keep doing what you're doing. And, and so the director, the who Dr. McGinnis, whom everybody really respected, said I was one of the best he had seen, and that gave me the best. You know, it doesn't matter that I can't perform as well as other people. I teach better than most, and
Oh,
that's what gave me the confidence to, you know. I'm good. I don't have to be good in that direction. I'm a great teacher.
Oh,
So then I did my uh and of course all the success I had in private lessons was great. And I was the um when my children, my girls went to ballet met, they wanted a director for the snow chorus. They wanted to form a snow chorus because Tchaikovsky had written the music in the snow scene for a children's choir, not a lady choir. And there's a difference in the sound. So they wanted a snow course. They wanted to volunteer to be the snow course director, and I volunteered. And so for 9 years, I directed the snow course at Ballet Met, and my choirs performed in. We had 60 students, and we'd do 30 people at a time. Performed in every 18 performances of the Nutcracker every November and December for 9 years. And so that was great fun, and of course wonderful memories with my daughters.
yeah. I think you played me a recording of that, like when you first
Yes.
came.
Yeah, we made a recording, and I just love it.
Yeah,
So then,
back when we had
yeah,
cassettes.
yeah, I continued to do that when I was teaching at Marburn, and I continued to do that the first few years at OSSB. But every uh, um, winter, I would get sick over the holidays because I was just pushing it too much. So I finally stopped. And I'll call also my daughters graduated. And so I stopped doing the ballet snow course and just stuck to Ohio State School for the Blind.
Good
And I
call.
was still performing really with Barbara Davidson as Some Bright Morning as well when I was at OSSB. So I had a lot on my plate. But in 1988, I graduated with my master's degree from the Ohio State University.
Oh,
So I had a master's degree from the Ohio State University in music education by the time I was teaching at Ohio State University. And I also took classes in Kodai music education from Capital University. And that's how I started using solfege, which is do, re, mi. And I used that the whole time I was teaching at OSSB.
oh, okay. Wow. This has been fun and exciting for me to have you on here, Carol. I just want to thank you so much.
Well, it's been exciting for me. I'm so looking forward to going with you to see Sarah Evans April 11th.
Oh yeah, oh yeah. I guess you can say in the words of Prince, "Party like it's 1999 or whatever year she came out."
That's right. And I have another thing that you're going to be so jealous of.
What?
We are heading home starting tomorrow, but we're going to stop on Friday at my brother's house in Nashville, Tennessee. And Friday evening, we have tickets to the Grand Ole Opry.
Shut up.
Yeah.
You. Sarah's gonna be jealous.
Yep, you too.
Uh-oh. I could hear the look on her face right now. And when are you gonna go to the Opry?
Friday.
This Friday?
Yes, sir.
Holy crap! I'll be tuning in.
I'll be in the second row.
I hope you'll be yelling for me.
I will.
I'll be tuning on WSM on my smart speaker.
Okay.
Well, thank you for coming on the Possibility for Disabilities podcast, Carol. As one of the bestest friends at the School for the Blind a student could ever ask for, I love you so much.
I love you too, Matt.
Yeah, you have a great rest of your day, and have a safe trip to Nashville and a safe trip back to Columbus.
Thank you.
You're welcome. I will talk to you soon, Carol.
All righty.
All right. Thanks for listening to Possibilities for Disabilities. This is Matt Cromer. I will see you next time.